This video is going to be a little bit weird, but I have a wild theory about what is going to be happening to New World in the next 5 to 8 months. There's some facts here, but there is also some wild speculation. Let me jump in, let's talk about it. On stream, I've been showing off this list. Now, this is literally just a notepad document with the stuff that I have found or I want to discuss right now. If you are familiar with the stream, then you might be familiar with the fact that I have been cooking up a treat. This is a case where you do not want to be a jabroni, you want to be a copium legend. Okay, enough about that. I won't do that on the video. But basically, I've broken this down into two sections. Here we've got facts and absolutes, and then at the bottom we've got predictions and if, buts, or maybes. I'm aware that that is the buts for bum. I did it because I thought it was funny. I'm very mature like that. But basically here we don't do if, buts, or maybes. We do absolutes. And the first absolute that I want to talk about is that the fact that seasons have been removed from the website. Now you might be wondering, what the hell are you talking about? But basically, I discovered this the other day. I don't know if anybody else has picked up on it, but I found it the other day, and let me show you. If I come to the New World website right now and I click this link here, this little drop down, this game section, you will see it no longer says seasons. Now you might be asking for proof that it did say seasons. Well then, you're in luck. If we go on the Wayback Web Machine, I think this might have been the 13th of January, but I mean, I can't figure out those days and I can't remember what I clicked. But if you click the little drop down, you will see that it says seasons. That link literally just takes you to this page where it explains what the seasons are. Nothing crazy. I don't know if you can even access this page anymore without either typing the URL or going getting the old link. But yes, you can see that they have removed seasons from the website. Does that mean anything? Is it important? Maybe, maybe not. It might be a mistake. It might be just an intentional reworking of the layout. But for whatever reason, around about on the 24th of January, they removed seasons from the dropdown. Might not mean anything, but we'll keep it in mind for later. The next thing, which is an absolute, is the fact that controller support is coming. That's on the roadmap. Pretty sure that's coming in Season 5. We'll probably get that on the PTR in the next coming weeks, actually, which should be pretty exciting. Now, the next bit is a little bit of wild speculation. For some reason, I've got some extra letters in here. Not cope, but code. And that is, I believe that console is being worked on. I think the only reason that the controller support is coming at all is because console is being worked on. Now, I know a lot of you don't believe it, but it was actually in the backing code. Somebody sent me a screenshot. However, I've just spent like 20 minutes trying to find that screenshot and I can't find it. But this is one of those where I would ask you to probably believe this one. I think it's very likely. It may end up getting delayed or what have you, but I'm pretty sure it was planned, and it was probably planned to be this year, and I still think it is. We then had the very interesting statement from Scott Lane where he said May is when the big update is going to come. Now, I personally take this to mean that it's probably just information. I don't think we're getting actual content in May, because when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. We'll get Season 5 in March, and then Season 6 would actually be in June. Now, of course, maybe they just mean they're going to announce a huge Season 6 in May, but, you know, just keep that in mind. In fact, let's watch the video.
Maybe I misspoke last time, but it's not that we're not doing any content between now and May. May is when the big update's going to come.
May is when the big update is going to come, and he's referring to content. Now, I personally still think there that he means information, but just keep that in mind. The next thing that we know is that Season 4's content, or what was on the roadmap, has been spread to Season 5 and beyond. And when I say beyond, we know, for example, the cross-server arenas was supposed to be in Season 4. It's not even coming in Season 5. Same with the seasonal trinkets and a few other things as well. And I'm saying perhaps that is to buy time. Okay, that is speculation. That is not absolute. The next one, I can't source, but he definitely said it because I remember it. I think he said it around about Brimstone, that they said there would be big content every year. Now, I put that in quotation marks, but it wasn't actually like phrased like that. I wish I could find the source, but it's not very worth the time to go and find that for something so innocuous. But that's relevant in a minute as well. The next thing is that Dave V is changing roles a little bit. He's still staying on New World, but he announced in the Balance of Power that he was changing roles a little bit. Could take off my headphones, I don't like having them on. We also know that the combat code improvement is coming soon-ish. This actually probably should have been on the PTR already. If we look at what the dev said on Discord in December, sort of implied it would already be, you know, testable, but it's not. But we know that the combat code improvement is coming. So pretty much everything here is fact, a little bit of speculation, but most of this is provable. And that then leads me on to my predictions. So I'm predicting in June or beyond a couple of different things. I'm saying console. I think console is pretty much guaranteed. I know some of you are like, nah, I don't think so. But I mean, trust at this point. I'm pretty sure that's planned. It might get delayed. It might get cancelled. You know, it might not be feasible, workable, what have you. But I think they're planning on it. I think they're working on it. partly because Lord of the Rings is going to console, but partly because I think it just makes business sense. And then I think seasons might be dead. And I know that's a little bit crazy, but I think season 5 might be the last season. And the main sort of wild speculation here is I do think that we might see a huge monetization change. So I don't know what that would be, but when we get console, I would not be surprised if we see the monetization of New World drastically change. And the thing that sort of triggered this for me, I mean, it was always the potential anyway, but the fact that they've removed seasons from the website really sort of suggests that to me. The console bit, I mean, they've already working on controller. I've seen a little bit of the console being referenced in the code in the backing data. Like, that just makes sense. But the monetization change, I mean, it could always have happened, but I didn't really have any, you know, incentive to believe it. But the fact that they've removed seasons from the website just gives me a little sort of like, a little bit of a sniff of either copium, hopium, or, you know, absolute crazium. But I believe we might end up with a huge monetization change. And if I was going to predict what that was, and this is definitely a prediction, it's an if, but, or maybe, and that is that I think we might end up basically losing the season pass, but potentially going to a monthly battle pass. Maybe something a little bit like Elder Scrolls Online Plus, where it's an optional subscription. It's not a subscription because you can just buy the game and play the game. You don't need it, but they'll give you enough incentives to think, oh, I actually want that. And then I also think with the advent of console, we might see something like free to play or a free to play trial. Maybe they'll do something where it's free to play up until level 20. Maybe the base game will be free to play. The problem with free to play in New World is that it is a unique player driven economy, and having a lot of, you know, free accounts could lead to a lot of bots, which is something obviously we do not want to see. There's a dog barking, so apologies if you can hear that dog. For me, the monetization changes in console could be the biggest copium that I've seen and had for quite some time. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to be thinking about the monthly battle pass. Oh, I won't pay, it's not going to be worth it. Well, that really depends on what they add to it. And a lot of you will be like, hey, they just don't make enough content in seasons. How are they going to do it monthly? Well, the key thing here is they just won't give you the content either seasonally or monthly. It'll be when it's ready. What's better than selling you a season pass every 3 months? Well, it's selling you a battle pass that just so happens to be that if you buy all of them, it's a little bit more expensive than the season pass. Again, I'm not keeping these on all the video, I just don't want to. My predictions if we are getting an expansion, by the way, is I think the expansion will come in September. I sort of thought it would be September because of that's when the seasons would align. 3 months after June would be September. But actually, they've always wanted to do their releases in September. The original game came out, I think, late September. And I think the expansion was supposed to be early September, but I'm pretty sure it got delayed. So I think the expansion is aiming for September. And I think it's an expansion. I know there's big content every year. Obviously, they said that when they mentioned Brimstone. I don't see a universe in which Amazon Games right now make an expansion level of content but don't sell it as an expansion. I don't think that makes any sense. And if I was a betting man, well, we know a little bit of vampires and werewolves from the end trailer. A little bit of spoiler there, but not really. And if I was a betting man again, I'd pick pistol, but it could be crossbow. I don't know. And my fake quote here would be, talking about the content, is I think they could say something like, well, we're not going to do seasons so that we can focus on quality, which means that not every update can come every 3 months. It's going to come when it's ready, and we don't want to be artificially gating ourselves and, you know, fixing ourselves to a time frame. Sort of makes sense. I do think that there might be a pre-expansion patch, because I'm a little bit confused when they say May is when the big update is to come. I don't think you would do a big update in May or June. If you look at the play numbers, which I'm not going to get up right now, the lowest points in New World's histories are always in the summer. Now, that's generally because that's at the end of content. Maybe they're just going to bring it forward a little bit. I'm not sure about that. But to me, it wouldn't make any sense to do a massive update in summer. So with that in mind, I think they might do a pre-expansion patch, which isn't necessarily like full-on content, but it's what a lot of the community sort of wants. So I think we might see something like PvP matchmaking and a new Outpost Rush variant or a new Outpost Rush map. That could come in something like June, and you know what? A lot of people would forgive them if they just did that. We also, well, I say we don't know this, but it was heavily rumored, it was basically leaked, that an expansion is being fully worked on by Virtuoso Games. So like one of the expansions is being fully outsourced. Is that this expansion that's coming this year? Maybe. I would say that they've probably done that so they can concentrate on console, but you know, that's just speculation on my part. If they were to do a sub-free, by the way, like a monthly battle pass or an ESO plus, There's a lot of stuff that they could add that you may not even think about. They could add something like free respec. You know how they mentioned in one of the dev videos that they were thinking about something like this? I mean, maybe that's where it's going to go. They could do something like free transmog. Now, what I mean here is that you don't unlock all of the transmog 1 month and then get them forever. It would work maybe like this. All the transmog collections that you have discovered but you've not used a token on, you would actually just be able to use whilst you have the sub fee going. And the minute you get rid of the sub fee, you then need to use a token. I mean, they could do it, you know, like there's no reason why not. They also could do stuff like extra gear sets. People love these. I mean, I know we need less gear sets now, but I'm still full of all my gear sets, so they could do something like that. They could also straight out rip ESO off and just take like a craft bag or extra storage or something combined with storage that would make it more interesting and appealing. There's loads of things they could do to make a monthly battle pass actually seem interesting. To be honest with you, I don't know what's coming, but I am expecting a little bit of change. Not just because the seasons got removed from the website, that could literally mean absolutely nothing, but it could be a little indication that something is going to change on a bigger, grander level. Let's be clear, we all know that New World isn't getting that much up until May. The 10-man seasonal trial is interesting for sure, but how many people are even going to be around to play that? And the cross-expedition stuff is good, but it's not actually like content, is it? It's a system. So I think the first half of 2024 is going to be a little bit sad and underwhelming for New World, but I think the second half of the year is going to be very fascinating. I think we're going to have a console release, I think we're going to have a new expansion, and we might be getting some significant monetization changes, all of which could be very interesting and very unique for getting a lot of people back and getting new people into the games. The copium, my friends, you can smell it, I can smell it, I think it's heading our way. I'm talking about plans, not quality content. Just keep that in mind. So that's my copium for the day. I just wanted to explain what's going on. A little bit interesting that there's all these like subtle things happening, and if you sort of read in between the lines, you can often understand what is coming. Last year I was talking about an expansion and people didn't even believe that an expansion was coming. Then I was talking about a level increase and people didn't believe that a level increase was coming. And yet people go like, Jay, you're always wrong. And the reason they say that I'm wrong is because I thought there'd be more than one zone. How could I think there'd be more than one zone in an expansion? Still sort of feel like there should have been more than one zone, but you know, okay, I was wrong on that one. I've also been wrong a little bit about when an update is going to come, but I'm pretty sure the reason I end up being wrong is because I think the plans at AGS end up changing. And contrary to popular belief, I do not actually have a camera like Scott thinks in the AGS office. So these are wild speculations, but sometimes if you read in between the lines, you look at the fact, you can infer the reality. You can also go crazy. Because of the way this video is done, I don't have access to put my Patreons on the screen, so forgive me, but I love you guys. For now, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have the most beautiful day, like and subscribe. Goodbye.